This is your USMNT Abroad midweek update from January 13th to January 15th of 2025. Hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo and welcome to Tactical Manager TV and welcome to the US Men's National Team Abroad series, where every single Monday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the weekend. Then every Thursday or Friday, which is today, we update you on how the Yanks did abroad during the midweek. Now, before we start, I'd like to kindly request for you to hit the like button if you haven't already. I appreciate it. I thank you for it. You gain absolutely nothing from it, but I'll say thank you. I guess that's the best I can do. I mean, I could promise like $1 million for every like that I get in this video, but I don't have that money either. I mean, I don't think I could even give anyone $1 for every like at this point in my life. But wait. Do you guys hear that? Rent will not be late this month because we have a great sponsor, a tremendous sponsor. One might say the best sponsor ever for this channel. And no, it's not the Pokemon company. It's also not Bono. It's FootMob. So before we start, a quick word from the sponsor of this video, FootMob. Keeping track of all the US men's national team players abroad and MLS prospects is tough. Watching all of their games is quite literally impossible, but there's an app that can help you keep track of your favorite teams and players, or the players that you hate the most, like myself, that I hate watch for fun. Today we are proud to partner with my favorite soccer app, FootMob, with the link to download it for free in the description of this video. And when you do so, you will be helping the channel and yourself for free. On FootMob, you can follow clubs or players that you'd like, have access to live results, stats among players, leagues, and much more. And you all know by now that FootMob is my go-to app, even before we partnered with them. I even use their ratings to push agendas when needed. But as I always say, watch the games. Don't only look at stats. And don't worry, because FootMob also tells you where you can watch the games. So download the app now. The link will be in the description for free. Follow your favorite teams and clubs using our link, and you will be supporting the channel in the process. Thank you very much, FootMob. Okay, thank you very much, FootMob. Now let's roll the intro and start the episode. As always, we start with the top 5 leagues in Europe, the first one being the Premier League. So we're going to go to England, and why don't we start talking about Chris Richards and Matt Turner from Crystal Palace. And on Wednesday, Richards started and played the full 90 minutes for Crystal Palace, helping them hold a clean sheet and a 2-0 win over Leicester. As for Matt Turner, he was back on the bench after starting their FA Cup over the weekend, and he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes as expected. Next on the list, also in England, we have Anthony Robinson from Fulham. And on Tuesday, A-Rob started and played the full 90 minutes for Fulham during their 3-2 loss to West Ham in the Premier League. So A-Rob actually got 2 assists for this game, but this might have been the most fraudulent brace of assists I have ever seen in my life. No, seriously. Both of them, A-Rob just gave a short pass to Iwobi, and he just lobbed it into the box, which, you know, that's what Iwobi did for both of those goals. None of them he meant to score. And the ball just kind of went in. It was just kind of like a lob pass across that no one deflected, no one cleared it, and it went into the back of the net. Both goals were very similar. So a very fraudulent brace from Iwobi and a very fraudulent brace of assist from A-Rob. Now, is it the player's fault? No. Congrats to them, and it still counts as an assist. And now Anthony Robinson has 9 assists in the Premier League this season. There are only 2 players that have more assists than him, Mo Salah and Saka. It's quite impressive. Again, regardless of the assist being an assist or an assist, he still has 9 this season as a defender. And the 2 players that have it more than him, they are world-class forwards. Actually, I don't think Saka is a world-class forward, but he's a very good forward, a very good winger. Last but not least in England, we have Tyler Adams and Mattia Kimboni from Bournemouth. And on Tuesday, Tyler Adams started and played the full 90 minutes for Bournemouth during their 2-2 draw with Chelsea. The 18-year-old American center back, Mattia Kimboni, he made the bench once again for Bournemouth, but unfortunately, he stayed there the full 90 minutes. Okay, time to leave England and go to Italy, so we can talk about the Americans in the Serie A. The first 2 being Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musa from Milan. And on Tuesday, Christian Pulisic started and was subbed out at halftime for Milan during their 2-1 win over Como. As for Yunus Musa, he started off the bench and was sent in win at halftime. And he did all right. He even played a small role on one of their goals. The problem with Musa is that I continue to not really see any progress on his game. He's more or less the same player he was like 2-3 years ago. Some people even say he regressed. I don't think he regressed. It just kind of seems like he stagnated. And as for Christian Pulisic, he did not really play well in the first half. He was kind of meh, not very effective. But that's not why he got subbed out. And this is why context matters quite a bit. Christian Pulisic was subbed out because he claimed to be injured at that time. The whole thing is a bit weird. He got hit on his calf, but then he held his hamstring and asked for a substitution. However, the day after the game, there were plenty of reliable reports saying that Christian Pulisic is fine, that he only has muscle fatigue. Maybe he just cramped up a bit or felt some tightness. So he is fine. And look, that is good news. I mean, out of everything that could have come out from this is the best news we could have gotten. He'll likely be rested over the weekend or come off the bench, but I would probably expect him to be 100% by next week. So bad news, Pulisic didn't do anything this weekend besides get injured. The good news is that he is injured. Actually, he's not injured at all. Next up, we have Weston McKennie and Timothy Weah from Juventus. And on Tuesday, McKennie started and played the full 90 minutes for Juventus during their 1-1 draw with Atalanta. As for Tim Weah, he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes during this match. So I wasn't able to watch this game because there were too many Americans playing at the same time on Tuesday. Plus, Juventus loves to practice soccer terrorism, and as Americans, we stand against any type of terrorism. Me specifically, I am very much against soccer terrorism. However, I talked to a few people that I very much trust, and I looked at the stats and I watched the highlights. And McKennie seemed to have been quite good. For starters, he was very versatile as always. Apparently, he played as a left winger, a 10, a central attacking midfielder, a right wing back, and I said this before and I'll say it again, he is capable of going through more positions in 90 minutes than a horny couple with the Kama Sutra book. On top of that, McKennie hit 2 shots on target, had a wonderful assist where he played a nice through ball to Kalulu, where that was the only goal that Juventus scored actually, and we know McKennie can make those passes. They ain't rare, and he had another one of those during this same game in transition during added time, which would have been the game winner, but his teammate blew it. So I'll say this, Weston McKennie's playmaking ability and through balls, he can pick a pass, is a very underrated aspect of his game. He can play as a 10, keep that in mind, and the US men's national team should consider that. The next player in Italy would have been Gianluca Busio from Venezia, but they didn't play during the midweek, so no updates right there. Next up, we have the Americans that play in the Bundesliga in Germany. But before we talk about the ones that played, a quick update. John Token has left the New York Red Bulls in MLS, and he will head to the Bundesliga to play for Holstein Kiel, that is battling against relegation. So we'll keep you guys posted when he plays and how his performance is and how he does. I'm looking forward to it. And John Token, welcome to the US Men's National Team Abroad series. So now let's talk about the players that actually played. The first two being Gio Reyna and Cole Campbell from Borussia Dortmund. And on Tuesday, Gio Reyna started off the bench and was subbed in the 59th minute for Dortmund during their 4-2 loss to Holstein Kiel, John Token's new team. Gio Reyna came off the bench for Dortmund and he scored their first goal with a nice shot from the edge of the box. He also created one goal scoring opportunity for his teammate that was not converted. I would say this, Gio Reyna did okay and was fairly effective in the limited minutes that he had. He needs to go somewhere where he gets more minutes, but then again, I just sound like a broken record at this point. When he plays, he's very often very effective. The main issue with his game is his work rate and body language, where I can see that being something that annoys many coaches, but this dude is good. He's a very good player. He's very talented, and we see that every time he has the ball on his feet. As for Cole Campbell, he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes. Next on the list, we have Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach, also known as Borussia, not Dortmund. And on Tuesday, Joe Scally started and played 81 minutes for Gladbach during their 5-1 loss to Wolfsburg. I mean, if you're a defender and your defense conceded 5 goals to Wolfsburg, do I have to say anything else? Probably not a good performance. As for Kevin Paredes, he was not available for Wolfsburg. He is still injured, and I can't remember the last time he played. Next up would have been Leonard Maloney from Heidenheim, but he's leaving Heidenheim and will go to Mainz. We just don't know if he's going to go now in January or during the summer. So let's skip Leonard Maloney and talk about James Sands from St. Pauli. And on Wednesday, James Sands started off the bench and was subbed in the 81st minute for St. Pauli during their 1-0 loss to Bochum. Last but not least, in Germany, we have the 18-year-old American center back Noah Kai Banks. And on Wednesday, Noah Kai Banks started off the bench and was subbed in the 75th minute for Augsburg during their 2-0 win over Union Berlin. He came in to help them hold the lead, and they did that. All right, now let's leave Germany and go to Spain so we can talk about the Americans in La Liga. In the same way we said hi to John Token, that he moved abroad, we're going to say bye to Luca De La Torre. He left Celta Vigo on a loan. He's going to go to San Diego FC in Major League Soccer, and I believe it's a loan with an option to buy. Now, I have no issue with this move because he wasn't really getting any playing time, even though I do think Luca De La Torre probably could find a team in Europe, but that's fine. That's his hometown. The only thing that's crazy is Luca De La Torre heads to MLS at age 26, and I believe it was like 2 years ago where he said MLS didn't really have pressure because they didn't have promotion relegation, and it felt like a different sport. Well, good luck to Luca De La Torre. Hopefully he can get minutes there, which I think he will, play well, and head back to Europe at some point, or just make a career in MLS and make a lot of money and go back to his hometown in San Diego. It's a beautiful city, so I can't blame him. Next on the list, we have Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis. And on Wednesday, Johnny started and played the full 90 minutes for Real Betis during their 5-1 loss to Barcelona. And Real Betis got completely outplayed. No one really did well for them, including Johnny Cardoso. I guess the context here is that Barcelona is probably the best team in the world right now. And everyone, if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to drop a like, and in the description you can download FootMob for free, and in the process you'll be helping the channel a lot. Thank you very much. Next up, we have the Americans that play in France, but this week we didn't really have Ligue 1. They had the French Cup during the midweek. Now Balogun and Caleb Wiley are still not available. They're injured and they'll still be out for a couple weeks. So let's skip Balogun and Wiley. Why don't we start with Marc McKenzie from Toulouse? And on Wednesday, McKenzie came off the bench around minute 65 for Toulouse to help hold on to a 2-1 win over Laval and advance in the French Cup. Now, McKenzie came off the bench because they were resting their starters. Last but not least in France, we have Tanner Tessman from Lyon. And on Wednesday, Tessman stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for Lyon as they were knocked out of the French Cup by a team from the 5th division. I'm not even sure this is a professional team that they faced and that they got knocked out. Well, first and foremost, I don't even know how to pronounce the name of this team. Second, I heard Joe the accountant was the center forward and Michael the architect was the right back. So this was probably not a professional team that just knocked out Lyon from the French Cup. And I think they were playing mainly their starters because Matic started and Tessman was on the bench. So I don't know, man. It sounds like my Sunday pickup team might be able to compete with this team. Okay, time to go to the Netherlands. But listen, the Eredivisie did not have games during the midweek, so they were playing games for the Dutch Cup. And the first ones that we're going to be talking about are the PSV boys, which is Ricardo Pepi, Malik Tillman, and Richie Ledesma. And on Tuesday, Pepi and Ledesma both started for PSV during their 5-4 win in extra time over Excelsior in the Dutch Cup. As for Malik Tillman, he came off the bench around minute 60 when PSV was down 2-0. Okay, so it was a massive comeback, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but beating Excelsior, a team that seems to be named after a Las Vegas casino, in extra time is a bit embarrassing. They should have won in regular time. It should have been a comfortable win, but PSV really struggled. PSV actually almost got knocked out. They tied the game at the 97th minute to send it to extra time. But how did the Americans do? Okay, so I don't have much to say about Richie Ledesma's performance. He was subbed out around minutes 80, roughly, and he was meh. Now, Ricardo Pepi, he played all 120 minutes, and he was clutch for PSV as always. Tillman came off the bench and helped PSV start this comeback. They were down 2-0 up to the 73rd minute when Tillman would take a good first touch with the ball in the box when it was in the air, followed by a great finish to score and cut it down to 2-1. Now, PSV did concede again, so the lead for Excelsior did become 3-1, but then Pepi was able to cut it down to 3-2 with an acrobatic finish off a cross around the 86th minute. Eventually, PSV would get a late goal at the 97th minute and send it to extra time, where Pepi would score with a nice little chip on a 1v1 of the goalkeeper. That was PSV's 4th goal, and that set their path clear to advance the next round with a 5-4 win. It was an incredible comeback, with Tillman and Ricardo Pepi playing crucial roles. Still in the Netherlands, we have Paxton Aronson from Utrecht. And on Wednesday, Paxton started and played the full 90 minutes for Utrecht during their 2-1 win over Waalwijk in the Dutch Cup round of 16. The win got them through to the next round, and Paxton Aronson was one of their best players, along with the fact that he got another assist. Paxton is one of those players that I think he has earned a call-up in March. He's been quite good. Obviously, it's the Eredivisie, so take it with a grain of salt, but he has been among the best midfielders in that league. Defensively, and offensively. Okay, usually we close it with the Americans that play in the EFL Championship, the second division of England, but none of them really played during the midweek. I guess Ethan Horvath made the bench for Cardiff City but got no minutes, so I got no updates there. We'll have updates on Monday because they're going to play over the weekend. However, there is an update in Scotland, so let's go quickly to Scotland, which is up north from England, and talk about the Americans that play for Celtic, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Austin Trusty. And on Tuesday, Carter-Vickers and Trusty both started and played the full 90 minutes for Celtic during their 3-3 draw with Dundee FC. And for this one, Carter-Vickers scored an own goal. He scored an own goal. It was a poor performance from both of them, to be honest. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go. Help us hit 1,000 likes if possible. And don't forget to download FootMob. The link will be in the description of this video. And as I said, it's free and you'll be helping the channel in the process and yourself. It's a great app. You won't regret it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys on Monday and have a great day.